therein lies a question: how do we tackle that? Because even if we all stood together, we're not going to stop that.
No, we're not.
So, is there another body, organization, company, government that should be taking control of it?
I personally, obviously this is very personal, I personally think if we're talking about one particular channel that has attacked our GB riders, I really do think the FEI need to step in. It is bullying. It is bullying. And I think, we're all told don't engage.
Yeah.
But that doesn't change how the person who's being attacked feels just because, you're not allowed to make comment or you're not allowed to whatever. No, I think the FEI, be whoever it is involved with in whatever federation they're registered with, they need to step in because it's doing our sport no good to the public.
It's doing it an injustice because it's not like that.
But and it's not. No. And there is so much good in the equestrian sport. But it seems to be at the moment that all everyone can focus on is bad because that's what's put out there.
Yeah.
So for me personally, I think the FEI need to start stepping in. They're so quick to step in when it's other issues. But this is bullying and it's our riders that are supposed to be protected, but they don't.
No.
They sit quiet.
Very valid point. And I think coming slightly away from that, but on a similar wavelength, I did an episode recently about, I think it was a Dutch body was going to start banning particular implements that we use with horses. And I didn't agree with that because it's not the implement or the tool that is the problem.
Any tool in the wrong hands can be a welfare issue.
Yeah. They were talking about banning certain spurs, certain
God, if
bits.
they ban spurs, I won't get some horses to try.
Well, yeah. So it is that, you could ban all the tools in the book, but it doesn't going to stop someone coming at the horse with a hammer or a fist.
No.
It's all about the person.
The person.
And it's not even about the horse. They could come at a human with a hammer or a fist. They could, it's not about, I know that we're talking horses here, but I think people get hung up on a whip, which is used merely to control a 600 kilo horse, done in the right way.
And also, a schooling whip is an aid. It's not a tool to beat a horse up. That's not the idea of it. Yes, it encourages them to go forward. But for example, I might be having a lesson and I want a little bit more push from the hind leg. Well, my leg's not going to do that because my leg's nowhere near the horse's hind leg. So I'll carry a schooling whip and I'll give a little tickle. And that's not to say you've done wrong. That's to say I just want a little bit more from this leg. Yeah. And my horses know that that's what it means. So they're not stressed by it. They're not upset by it. Yeah. A little tickle and they're like, oh, you want more there? And I'm like, yeah, I want more there. So they'll give me more there. But that's how they're trained. That's how they know. But yeah, all these things, spurs, whips, they're supposed to be an add-on for our aids, not a bad thing, not necessarily to always discipline them.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, they are horses. They're 600-pound animals. They are stronger than us. And there are cases where, don't do that. That's not acceptable. But if we didn't do that, they would be dangerous.
Yes.
They would be dangerous.
And we even have to do it to our own families, kids, whatever. It's not like it's not just horses we're talking about here, really. We all have to set our own boundaries, and we do that in different ways. If I was setting boundaries with a child that's only, small, it's a very different way of telling them the one thing than telling a 600-pound horse.
Yeah. Now, I'm not saying beat them up.
No, of course not.
Absolutely not what we do. Because actually, I mean, if I did that to my horse, they'd probably curl up in a ball and die and be like, she hates us. But the point is they've got to want to work with us.
Yes. And,
even beating them up, doing whatever, if they don't want to do something, they're not going to do it.
Exactly.
So, yeah, banning, going back to what you were saying, you can ban whips, you can ban spurs, you can, but it is the particular individual, not necessarily the aids that they have.
Or the whole industry.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I also, what I feel quite strongly about is, okay, so 2 people have been caught being abusive or whatever with a whip. So let's punish the whole equestrian community. No, do something about that one person.
Absolutely.
Because actually, again, it goes back to a little bit for me, safety. You know, safety for riders, safety for grooms, safety for, you know, people that are dealing with horses. There has got to be an element of they've got to be safe. And yeah, they do have to a degree, stay a little bit in their box because they are big animals. But there are ways that you can do that without welfare coming into it.